Okay. Hello, guys. Good evening, everyone. This is Narrative Africa. My name is Innocent Magaji, and I'm here with a beautiful Miss Ada Obi. We're going to discuss. She's blushing. Okay, we're going to discuss Nigerian music today and the evolution and why Afrobeat is very dominant. And we're going to discuss some of the characteristics, some of the things that the Nigerian music artists are doing to dominate the entire industry. It's going to be a very fascinating topic. So we're going to invite you to, first of all, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching, and then go and leave your comments, tell us what you think about this, and leave your contribution. So we enjoy as we continue. So let me start this way. Who is your favorite artist, for example, in Afrobeat?
There are quite a lot. There are quite a lot. Definitely one of my favorites is Wizkid, you know. I admire his growth in the music industry, his tenacity, his flair and ear for music and beats.
Okay.
And there are quite a lot of them, from old school to new school. The Orlando Julius's, the Onyeka Owenu's, even Lagbaja had me with that song one time like that. I wasn't so much into all that hardcore Fuji and stuff, but there were a few songs that were endearing. Of course, the Yemi Alades, the Flavors, I mean, Simi, and Adekunle Gold. I mean, there's such a great host of awesome and well-doing Nigerian musicians out there.
Okay, so before that, I want to leave a disclaimer actually. I'm a very vast, like I love music from different parts of the country. I used to think actually before now that the Nigerian music was the best before I discovered South African music, for example, and even Ghanaian music. It happened in such a way that one day we just seated and there was this Ghanaian that came in. So some music that I thought were Nigerian music were actually Ghanaian music. So I want to tell us that all African countries, both Ghana, they have very, very good music. I respect what those guys are doing. In Mali, in fact, one of my favorite artists, she's a Malian, her name is Fatoumata Diawara. So most people who know me, they know that I speak about her all the time. So this is not a biased show. This is not a biased interview. We're just trying to be objective. It is undoubtable that the Nigerian music artists are, taking Afrobeat to the next level. We have seen how they have conquered the international scene and how they have walked through so many African countries. So it is that go-getter spirit. That's what we're trying to look about now and try to analyze, discuss it with people. So keep your mind open. We're not biased individuals here. We just want to be very, very objective and discuss about what they're doing. Try to see what they're doing differently from other group of people. Like I said, Nigeria, South African Afro House, one of the good. They have very, very good, talented musicians here, but their music is not going that global. If you ask people in the diaspora, not many people know about them. That doesn't mean that there was a time South African music was, global. It was very, very global. But now, what we see are the Nigerians, and so we want to try to understand what they're doing. And by the way, we are Nigerians ourselves. I'm a Nigerian. She's a Nigerian. But we are Pan-African. I'm a Pan-Africanist, for example. So I love all African countries: Rwanda, Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Niger, Chad, Mauritius. All those countries, they are our countries. So we love to see Africa progressing. But the Nigerians are doing something. In fact, before now, I wasn't even a fan of the Nigerian music industry, the Afrobeat. I thought it was too much noise and all those things. But then something caught my mind. I started seeing these guys, killing shows in UK, US, even here in France, Francophone country here in France. They come in and thousands of people trooping to watch them. They just have huge fan everywhere. In Germany, that people don't even understand English. People come out to watch them. Then there is this spirit of solidarity among Nigerians. I discovered that if you go to any African bar, if Nigerians go there to spend money, they force the DJ to actually put Nigerian music. Then I said, okay, what is going on? There is a revolution, And then I observed, that's it. I observed that they usually, when they sing around 2005, 6, 7, they use light skin models. mostly
Yes,
white, all those things. But
usually
this is
copying the
the
American
evolve.
style.
Yeah. So I want you to what do you think? What happened? Why did they stop using light skin models?
That's a great question, and it's really interesting for anyone who has been in Nigeria, listening to music as it progressed. You know, we went from hardcore American music. You know, that was all you could hear on radio stations. And it was only on the likes of NTA that you would hear Nigerian high life, the Onyeka Owenus, the Victor Waifus, maybe specific radio stations that were catered to the vernacular itself, whether it was Igbo or Yoruba, unless it was a Yoruba station, before you could hear the Fujis and the Apalas and all that hardcore stuff, you know, but on the mass DJ sections, it was just American music. But gradually, you know, we started to have a feel for those combinations. People, I think the majority of the masses, you know, much as we wanted that Western stuff, people grew up listening to music with their parents. So, and the artists that were playing and copying the American styles, it was kind of, it was substandard, to be honest with you. So they weren't really impressive. At most, they sounded ridiculous, sometimes awkward, sometimes it was like, oh, okay, you can rap, whatever you said, we didn't hear, but okay, you know, but there was no attachment from the listeners until we started to have a blend of young people singing old songs. That was when the Nigerian market began to embrace Nigerian homemade music, you know. Those who weren't really into the Onyeka Owenus began to embrace the Yami Alades, the Omawumis, the Wajes, because, and if you take Omawumi, she was an embodiment of South African, Nigerian. She had an African old school style, you know, like the Angelique Kidjos. She had that embodiment in her song, and it was really something to watch, you know, because radio stations were no longer playing the Angelique Kidjos of the time, or the Miriam Makebas, and we had this breakfast show on NTA that their theme song, if I should call it, was one of those South African songs, something like that. And that was how they
That's
just
Miriam
kept,
Akiba, yeah.
yes, that was how they kept those African inspired songs in circulation. And people just heard it, but they never really paid attention to it. So when we had that hard hitting American copied songs in circulation, it didn't really sit, because unless you turned on the radio before you heard them, but your everyday life was doused with thick African content. You were passing shops, kiosks, you would hear the Hausa's song blaring out of those shops. You would have Yoruba shops, you would have the Fuji blaring out. So our daily lives, we were unconsciously, you know, being bamboozled with our own culture, but we didn't really, the radio stations, the musicians, they missed out on that part. You know, they wanted to give us Western American music, get up, you know, but our daily lives had our own cultural songs every day. And I think eventually when the likes of Two-Face, you know, the tribesmen, they began to, they started to, the tribesmen, for instance, the LDs, the MIs, they began to rap, but with a bit more flair, with a bit more content, with a bit more swag, African swag, if we should call it, you know, before people started to like them. But it wasn't until the breakout of Plantation Boys' Two-Face, you know, with a little bit of, it was a nice twist. It was a nice, you know, you are my African queen, but he wasn't speaking pidgin, but the tone of the music sounded like pidgin. The girl of my dreams, and most of the background, what do I call it? The reverberations of the song, the repeat choruses, let me call it, the choruses sounded pidgin, you know. So we had that whole new, even before that, what we had was the makossa, the French. It was a blend of the Afro high life with some more dance and some more Afri-centric culture in it. But it wasn't Nigerian, but it was African. And people, the makossa rain was something else. Even till today, when you play makossa on the streets, people may not dance, but the memory, there was nostalgia about it.
So
I think,
why do you think the Nigerian music industry is doing so well right now?
I mean, like I said, unconsciously, our daily lives were around our own cultural music.
Okay.
So, and the thing is, what your unconscious you receive in your subconscious is stronger than what you receive when you are conscious.
That is true.
You're playing Iwa Ololufemi Lojowo, the Julius Orlando's in the taxi or at the Lagos parks or the restaurants. This was what they were playing. They weren't playing the hip hop Cisco songs,
Yeah, but that is just within Nigeria, for example. But Nigerian music is doing so fine. This is what I mean by it's doing so well because it has transcended the Nigerian border, for example.
Exactly.
It dominates almost the entire African continent, and right now we're seeing them everywhere. Burna Boy was recently nominated for a Grammy Award.
Yes, kudos to him. That was amazing.
Yes, exactly. And you see almost all Africans, both those who are not even Nigerians. In fact, South African music industry, they have very good music with very talented people. But you hear from South Africans themselves saying, wow, the Nigerian music is more African.
Very dominating, yes.
Yes, that is more African because we use our local, They use their own local language too, but most of them try to copy the American style. Till today, that's what they do. But they set up the Nigerian distance. So do you think is because what is it? What is the flavor that makes us to be really dominating? Like all over the continent, all over the world, afrobeat is going on right now. Everybody want to collaborate with them. Beyonce, Jay-Z, all these
right. The gift
everybody
album.
wants to come in and collaborate. Yeah. So you can see. So what is it that is coming up? What is the secret? Like, what do you think is going on?
I'll tell you something. No shades to the MIs or the vectors, but if we had just the MIs and those who were rapping, the Western music, even though it's infused with our vernacular, it was still Western style, Western beats.
Yeah.
Most of them, I don't want to say they've lost their fan base, but they've lost their appeal.
Okay.
Because first of all, if all we ever heard on a day-to-day basis was our cultural music, it's only those as we mature as a generation that would translate into what we still want to hear. It's called being familiar. Most Nigerian music industry has kind of abandoned Western tone. Western music. South African, if you look at the popular South African musicians, you have the Angelique Kidjo's. They're still the old guys. The new ones are
not South African though.
No, I mean, pardon me. I'm saying most African musicians outside Nigerians that are popular, that are wanted, they're not they're not giving out the Beyonce vibes. They're not giving the Jay-Z vibes. They're giving that concrete cultural stuff. And outsiders want to know more about Africa. They want to hear it. The dances now that you have all over the internet, the zankus, there's so many dance steps. It's all African.
So in essence, you're saying that is the infusion of the African culture.
We've gone back into the basics. Like we've completely abandoned American music.
We stop copying the American. So MI they are not training now because everybody.
Nobody wants to listen to all that.
All those rap, all those thuggish language, nigga this, nigga that. and
You
we're
know,
tired of all those violence, guns, bullet, powder, cocaine, women dance, all those things.
when you listen to Burna Boy,
Mm.
Burna Boy is not so much as rapping than he is simply playing fella on fast beats.
Okay, that is
Burna
true.
Boy
I
is
agree.
fella on a faster beat.
Yes.
Wizkid, the same thing. Even if there are no
Mm.
tangible lyrics in his song, he's
Mm.
maintaining that Afro beat high. It's groove. People want to groove. I mean, if you
But
listen to, yes,
there is this, it is true that the Nigerian music industry, the infusion of our culture is palpable.
mm,
But someone who listening to us right now will argue that, okay, the Ghanaian music industry, for example, also infuse African culture, African attire, the Banku music, for example, and then they sing in their own local language too. But they are not making huge wave still as the Nigerians. So what do you think is happening here? You have two people who are doing the same thing,
right.
yet they are not
One
making the
has
wave. So what do you think? What is
more
going on? Yes.
results.
Yes, I know other people argue that, oh, because Nigeria is 200 million population more than Ghana, who is just 28 million. But no,
Mm,
Nigerian artists, in short, only 30% of Nigerians have access to the internet. But
right.
Nigerian artists have fan base across the world, all
Across the
over the world,
world.
both in UK, both in Francophone, everywhere. But Ghanaian artists who are doing the same thing as the Nigerians only have fans in Ghana. Very few people actually appreciate Ghanaian music outside. So what
You
do you
know,
think? What?
I think we also have to give kudos to our DJs because
Okay.
a lot of Nigerian artists would
Mm,
not be where they are without their DJs,
that is true.
and some of them have gone to producing their own. I don't know how many African musicians produce their own work, but you have the
Mm.
likes of Davido, Techno, even Wizkid at some point. I can't really confirm, but
No, I think they have. I think they have producers that work for them. All these their SARS, all these their Jews boys, Jews music, all those things.
we can count.
Yeah,
with
a lot.
with other African countries we can count, but in Nigeria, DJing is almost like a career.
Yeah, that's true.
So all you need to do is put out nice beats, and you
Mm.
find. I mean, look at Joe Boy. Joe Boy just came out the other day,
Mm.
and he's Mr. E. He's under Easy, the Mr. Easy. Would you call it record label or something? You
Yeah,
know, And
Banco music. That.
another thing that has really
Mm.
helped the Nigerian music to go around the world is a lot. Half of our artists or musicians are from
Mm.
home, half are from diaspora. So you have the likes of Nigerians, Tiwa Savage, you have Banky W, you have LD. Whether they
Mm.
left home and went, but they've come with that technical capacity from the
Okay.
West to
Ah.
improve our music.
Okay.
So
Mm.
I don't know how many Ghanaians or South Africans who live abroad have come home
Yeah.
to
Somebody.
change, because that's really where the change happened. You know,
That's true.
it's like they were struggling with being successful or being noticed in the same arena as the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's. So they
Mm.
took that same vigor and
Mm.
came home.
Ah.
And here's a funny thing. Some of them came with that same American style and found that they couldn't compete. The minute they
Mm.
switched to the African context, because the people dictate what they want
Ah.
to hear.
What they want to, that is true. Yeah.
Yes, and we didn't want our father's music, but we wanted a bit of it. We wanted American and home. So
Mm-hmm.
the Nigerian music industry has been able to blend that in such a refined way. And what I've noticed is that they constantly refine the quality
Mm-hmm.
of that combination, that marriage of
Okay.
Western
Okay.
with.
This is our second point. And so the first point is the fusion of the African culture, the acceptance, the
Mm,
promotion of the African culture, and now what you talk about is the blending of both African and the Western culture in it together, just
mhm.
to spice everything up. And this. So there's something I also noticed about this Nigerian musician, something exceptional. And I'm bringing in Mr. Easy, for example. He claimed to be a Ghanaian, He claimed he's a citizen of Ghana. And then you have Yemi Alade, for example. Then you also have Patoranking, who has nothing to do with South Africa, but he went there. There was a very fantastic song he sang. It's called Available. So what I noticed is that Nigerian artists, they copy different music. This Available, for example, is one of the most, it epitomizes, the ability of the Nigerian artist to fuse. For example, you hear him singing using in South African language, he's singing Swahili, he's mixed Morocco, Arabic, inside, everything all together. So these Nigerian artists, they have the ability of adopting a new country on their own.
Right, new culture,
So
new sound.
Mr. Easy can say he's a Ghanaian, but Nigerians will not complain that he said that. Yemi Alade can claim Swahili, she can claim Kenya, sing with them and, dine with them. And then the people will fall in love with her. And you see she'll become their fan. Flavor, for example, he went to Liberia, adopted it. In fact, Liberia is his second home. So this is what these Nigerian artists are doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they are adopting different countries. They are going abroad, they can claim identity of other country. But the artists from those countries cannot claim the Nigerian identity. In fact, what the Nigerian artists do is that they do not just claim the identity, they sing in their language. They sing in Twi, for example. They sing in Swahili. They sing in Xhosa, for example. They sing in Soto. They even sing in Zulu, in Kinyarwanda, So what they do is that they copy them. They sing in their language. But the artists of all these countries cannot copy the Nigerian language.
It's almost, where do you start? Is it Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa?
Exactly, where would you start? So you have a pidgin there, for example. What I saw recently is Diamond Platinum. I saw him using Naira Marley sound. He's using Malian sound. He's even done Burna Boy. So I noticed that he's shifting. He's going towards Afrobeat. He's a very smart guy. Very, very smart guy. As he's singing and he's using pidgin, he's the first artist I noticed that is drifting towards Afrobeat. He knows that this is what is reigning, and Nigerians are leading the revolution. For him to conquer the outside world, he needs to accept that vibe. So I want you to comment on this. Just look at the vibes. Nigerian artists, the ability to copy other African languages, to copy their sound, to copy their drums. You spoke about they are in Western sound. They know how to fuse it. They know how to blend it. Not just that, they copy everywhere. In fact, Nigerian music is influenced by even Indian sound. Rema, for example, he uses Indian sound. So when I see Ghanaians crying, I say, oh, Ghanaian music, I'll just say, sit down there, because look, these Nigerians, they are copy. They copy everything. They copy India, they copy Japan, they copy anything, you will find it there. So it's just like a dark hole that just, swallow everything. So I want to comment on this, the ability of them to copy these countries, but these countries cannot copy the Nigerian style. They cannot even sing in Nigerian language, not even copy the Nigerian sound.
To be honest, there's one symbol in Nigeria that tells you how much we are able to adapt, and that's the pidgin English.
Okay.
Nigerian music industry is at the top of the game, at the top of the food chain, because of the Nigerian person's ability to adapt. And not just adapt, but to make it your own. Pidgin English, as the name sounds, is English in my own dialect. Make we they go, make we they come, make we hear a word. I don't know any other culture. Maybe I think I've heard a bit of Ghanaian, like people who are changing what is foreign and making it their own, and but the Nigerian pidgin English, someone who speaks Nigerian pidgin English, a foreigner who is able to speak a Nigerian pidgin English, that is your rite of passage. You don't have to belong to any of our tribes, but just being able to speak pidgin English. Now, when you take our adaptation of English language to pidgin, we've simply done the same thing with every other culture, whether it's Western or fellow African neighboring countries. Afrobeat does not have its home strictly in Nigeria. And this is what most of the other African musicians are missing. They seem to think Afrobeat is Nigerian, but Afrobeat is actually a collection of other African cultures.
That
So
is true.
it can appeal to somebody in Zimbabwe and somebody in Namibia because we've taken it from our ancestors. Afrobeat is a fusion from the old. And if you listen to Mariam Makeba, you know, or the guy who sang the Lion King theme song, when you put Fela and Waifo and Onyeka Wenus together, that sound, of course, Fuji appeals to Nigerians. I wouldn't say Nigerians alone, but imagine taking an element of Fuji and putting it into the Oliver the Cokes. Like we are, because of our blended nature, we don't take anything as in its original form. You know, we've grown up in such a blended culture that we blend everything, and it is that mashup that has made the Nigerian music become a phenomenal sound to reckon with. Because
so it's cultural. It's cultural then. It's cultural because we spoke about, first of all, the infusion of the African culture, the infusion of both African and Western culture, and now the ability to adopt.
Yes.
You know, so you spoke about Nigerian having a scene, a country with multiple languages, yet the people were able to forge an identity out of the many identities we have. So the question I want you to answer me, don't dodge this question, don't do me this. Why are other African countries not able to copy the Nigerian style? Is it that the Nigerian culture, what is it about the Nigerian culture that they don't even care that their artists can claim other country? The Nigerians don't even complain. But for instance, Mr. Easy can say he's Ghanaian. Nigerians will say, stay there. But they won't know if you stop listening to his music.
Absolutely.
But if Sarkodie, for example, comes out and say, "Oh, I'm a Nigerian," or even try to, in short, he even shared one music. That was a tweet he made. He shared one Nigerian music, and his countrymen came hard on him. You know, so don't dodge this thing. I want you to address this. Like, just why is it that they cannot copy the Nigerian style? What is it? So is this still cultural? Is this something that is cultural from the people? What is it? Is it just the Nigerian culture that is pushing all this?
The culture becomes the people, and the people become the culture. And what this means is, it's almost like somebody from Burkina Faso is strictly Burkina Faso. Somebody from South Africa is strictly South African. Somebody from Nigeria is not strictly Nigerian because we travel, we explore, Nigerians are curious. They want to, yes. Other African countries, their level of curiosity, their level of desire to explore other tastes. Nigerians will taste everything and anything. You know, we want to know what that tastes like. We want to know what that feels like, what it sounds like. You know, and that is what has made us this people without trepidation. We explore things. They say Africans are afraid of their lives. If there's any country that is willing to go into the lion's den, it is Nigerians. We are not afraid of new lands. We're not afraid of new waters. We want to. It's like we know home. Now let's find out what is out there. So I feel like other African countries, they want to remain at the shore. All they need to do is step out of their comfort zone, step out of their cultural comfort. Nigerians have stepped.
Right now, the Ghanaians, the South Africans, the Senegalese, although they do try to go abroad, you know. So this is what Nigerians are doing actually. So I get the point why you were speaking. The word keep coming: explorers, risk takers. So in essence, this thing defines the Nigerian culture. You know, that spirit of risk taking. They are not afraid to go beyond the comfort zone. There is this other guy that just came out recently. I think his name is Oxlade. He's just a young upcoming artist. Do you know Oxlade? Yeah, have you ever heard of him?
Yes, I've heard of Oxlade.
Okay, not many people know him, but the guy is incredible. He just released one of the first video. I can't remember. I can't remember the name. Uh, I think something me something. I can't remember the title. But I watched the video. It's amazing because he has Kenya, he has Uganda, he has South Africa, he has Ghana inside. In fact, there's a hotel with the name of different countries written on it. When I
Ah.
watched that video, this is an upcoming artist that knows exactly how to market himself. You know,
Mm.
he didn't just limit his music only to Nigeria, but he tried to bring it all the African countries in it, and with their dresses, and invite all their women. The Uganda woman was just there dancing, moving her body. The Ugandan woman was there, you know. So this is the charm. This is the charm that Nigerian music comes with. Not
Absolutely.
just sit down in your border, sit down in your country and say, oh, we have 200 million people and are comfortable. No, they venture beyond their market. And then the
Absolutely.
people that are watching relate to them and they love what they're doing. So I think you're right. The spirit of exploration and the spirit of
Mm-hmm.
risk. So
We
what do
definitely have that because of how much we travel as a
you,
country. I mean, it's almost hard to say there's no Nigerian in any part of the world.
mm,
So it's in us to travel, it's in us to explore, whether for money, whether for pleasure or leisure, for education. Nigerians are explorers. We are going out there. We want to be part of what's happening outside and we bring it home,
okay.
you know. We always like to take anything we find with soup that we made home. And when we go back outside, it's like,
Yeah.
I hear a bit of my culture in this person's song,
Mm.
but it's a Nigerian singing because they are
So
willing to take it that far.
another one again I wanted to understand is a Ghanaian artist that was complaining. He said that if you type Afrobeat, boom, Nigerian music pop out everywhere. So even if you type Ghanaian music, Nigerian music pop out online.
Mm.
So another Ghanaian DJ was complaining that there's this DJ platform that they're looking for Afrobeat, and he doesn't see Ghanaian music there. That he'll be playing,
Wow.
somebody will come and request and give him a title, you know. They will give him a title, he will search, he won't find the music. But he say any platform, Utify, what they call it, Utify or Beautify, there's
Uh,
Spotify,
Spotify.
Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Music. There's no platform you will not go. So I think this marketing strategy that they are doing to promote their music, even ordinary Oxlade, you go to Spotify, you'll see him in
Mm.
every platform. So there's this marketing strategy that I don't know they're employing. Can you comment on that? I can't really understand.
I think the first marketing strategy Nigerian musicians employ is
Okay.
dance.
Hmm.
As long as your music is danceable. Because, take for instance, you go to a club and they play the band, Nulompe.
Yes,
The whole club goes wild. There's every chance that that's not the only club playing the band.
that is true.
Because Nigerians, we celebrate, we are the
People of rhythm.
people, the culture, we like to have fun. So
That
as
is true.
long as, take a funny scenario, Iyanya, after he
Mm.
won, I think it was MTN Project Fame, he
Mm.
started out singing R&B, baby I love you, love you, love you, love you, and
Uh,
he almost fizzled out until he switched over to Kukere. Iyanya, the survival of Iyanya's career rests
yeah.
on him switching to a danceable beat.
Uh,
So you can see, we can put all the marketing jargon and terminologies out there, but that tells you what sells. Your music must first of all be danceable because
mm.
it is that airplay you get, whether it's in the clubs, whether it's on the radio, you know. If people are, Nigerians are known to gyrate. We have a gyration culture, whether it's Yoruba, Igbo, people are dancing. So once your music comes on, and it's, even if I don't know who is singing, it's like, this song is nice before we even know who the artist is. The only time an artist escaped, let's take Two-Face and Face. You know, Face took the R&B route. Two-Face took the gyration route. What was that? Not even his African Queen. African Queen became, if nothing, more popular outside Nigeria than inside Nigeria. You know, because people like the Afrobeat. We liked it here, but of all his albums, people were like, if to say not just me. Two-Face took a more danceable route compared to Face or Blackface. Blackface was the rapper. So let's take Blackface as the American culture musician, the Face as the R&B American musician. Two-Face completely veered off that road and took the gyration Afrocentric style. Who has survived amongst all three of them? So the first marketing instrument, and that's why you can see so many songs with zero lyrics. But check out their beats.
But South African music, for example, is a music of rhythm. You know, people dance; it makes you to move. Ghanaian music too makes you move. Makossa makes you move. We know that Côte d'Ivoire. We know Coupé Décalé. Those are music that make you, even if you're dead, your soul, your spirit will start to shake, and you'll be moving once you hear them.
You just mentioned a very good collection of danceable music. Now let's look at the volume. After your music is danceable, how many songs or how many musicians are doing that? Because it is what you pour out there that the masses consume.
Okay.
So with the coupe and everything, how many coupe, I think, is Ghanaian or so? How many Ghanaian musicians?
Yes, are doing
how
that.
Many of those? How many of his countrymen are doing coupe dances or music or sound? In Nigeria, you don't just have Two-Face. You have like, we have so many. So if D'banj doesn't release, Two-Face will release. If Two-Face doesn't release, somebody from Don Jazzy's group releases. We have so many. So they are competing with each other. That's another marketing strategy. So the genre of music is being promoted by the volume that is being generated. So we've completely pushed out everything else until we've gotten enough of this gyration market.
In addition to what you just said, while you were talking, the point just came into my mind, because I noticed something about the Nigerian music industry.
Yes.
It's called strife that we see in other countries, for example. Right? I don't know, I'm trying to find a word for it, but I will allow you to comment on it first of all before I say anything. We see Davido came out and created his own record label. They call it DMW. Have the Sound City. We have different record labels in Nigeria. And every year, Nigerian alone bring out more than 5 new artists on the scene. These artists, they do not just come, they come with quality video. Look at Rema, look at Joe Boy, for example, look at Fireboy, look at the group of the Alte, the Udunsi, all of them. You know, they come out with fire. In fact, I can even count 10, just 2019 alone. They came out into the scene. So Nigerians, there's this ability to reproduce talent.
That's the word, reproduce.
Reproduce talent. So look at the video, for instance. He just look at you, you're doing fine, he signed you in. Look at what Whiskey did. Look at the song he sang, Soccer, for example. Almost all the singers that were with him, they were just new talent coming up. So I think this is it. I've gotten the image now. Nigerians, they know how to reproduce talent better. I think they have understood that business of music, you know.
Right, to keep it
Don't
going.
just come out and keep it going. And then there's something they always do again abroad once they do. I saw Whiskey, for example. He came out, he brought out Burna Boy. He brought that Tiwa Savage. He brought that Naira Marley. Nobody knew Naira Marley in London, but he brought it out.
Collaboration.
Exactly, vibration. So he brought them out and introduced them to the crowd. All of a sudden, Naira Marley that was having just 60 something thousand, before you notice, within 1 week, his YouTube
They
went to
had a
200
lot.
subscriptions. So you see, so I think that is the word reproducing talent. Is something exceptional that we don't see in other African countries. In Ghana, for instance, that spirit is not there. In South Africa, everybody is on his own independently. You know, they don't have the ability to. I think this is what makes the Nigerian music industry to be exceptional. Yeah. So, what would you like to comment on that before we end the
I mean, you've said it. You've used two very powerful words, and I'll add a third one. There's we reproduce ourselves, we collaborate with ourselves, and more than that, we endorse each other.
Thank you so much.
You know, Tiwa Savage, Banky W, they were all new from abroad. They were, you know, they had to partner with D'banj, you know, they had to partner with artists at home to get exposure to the Nigerian market. You know, you don't do it alone. You need a force. You know, the Nigerian music has remained a force because the Nigerian artists, the music industry itself, is not just doing what we all like. They are making sure that every new generation is producing what that generation wants, and not just one or two, because it's, if we only, other African cultures, their sound seems to be dying out because there are not that many
that is
pushing it, even if not to the outside world, to your own people.
That is true.
And then there's that collaboration. You need to sing in each other's songs. You need to sing each other's songs. You know, we need to they need to promote each other. Nigerian songs promote each other. If you're not promoting the old songs, you're promoting new people, you know. And of course, like you said, having your own record label. We've gone from waiting on somebody, because during the time of Two-Face, it was just, what's that, those two young, the record label.
Which one?
The record label that housed Two-Face. I've almost forgotten.
I think it's not a Plantation record.
D1 or so. D1 and Kenny's Music. Kenny's Music. So we've gone from that record label business to producing my own songs, making sure that I'm pushing my sound out. So I don't know what kind of structure other African countries have in terms of who is producing your music, who's marketing it. Is it even marketable? You know, do people like it? You know, they shouldn't worry so much about the international market, because our own sound started with our people. Nigerians promoted Nigerian music. You know. We go abroad, we play Nigerian music. We dance Nigerian music outside of Nigeria, and that's when it became, what are these people doing? You know, and that's pretty much it.
So, thank you so much. It was nice having you on this platform.
Thank you for having me.
I think we've broken this down. Our Ghanaian friends, our South African friends, our Senegalese, our Cote d'Ivoire. I think the Cote d'Ivoire, they are doing good with the African Francophone.
We love you guys. We love you guys.
They are doing good. So Africa, all the African countries have fantastic music. My favorite is actually Malian. Everyone knows that. So I'm not saying, oh, Nigerian is the best. Nigerian is this, because people are fond of doing that. Nigerians are doing something exceptional.
Sure.
And I think all African countries can be able to copy some of the qualities we just mentioned, you know, reproducing talent, marketing, infusion of culture, infusion of, you know, learning. And then there's another one that we didn't speak about, we didn't even mention here, is the quality of the video that they do.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
One popular video director in Nigeria is Sheson. I believe that's his name. I wish Nollywood would evolve the way Nigerian music industry has evolved.
Yes.
They've seen that it's not enough to make good audio sound. A good video
Yes,
also sends that culture
that is true.
farther
Yes,
because people now
yes.
see, they see the color, they see the dance steps. So you can't have such a great sound and such a poor quality. So our video directors and producers have gone to educate themselves, to make sure that.
And then the quality is not just, there's no country in Africa that can match the quality. Each other, they are competing with the Americans when it comes to quality. And what they do is that they spend so much money in producing. There was something you said very interesting. I want you to talk about this. It's about storytelling. Story, and how you speak to the spirit of the people for them to, how does your music, how can your music appeal to them particularly? Will your music stand the test of time, or will it just disappear? So can you just comment on that storytelling?
I mean, if you look at the best musicians of our times, the Fellas, the Victor Wifo, I'll take Fela's song, Water, you don't get enemy. You like the beat, you like the sound of it, but it makes sense, no matter it. And he goes on to tell you, be like water, because no matter what you do, it doesn't stop it. And then you go to Victor Wifo. If you marry taxi driver, I don't care. That's comedy. People laugh. When you're feeling bad, you play Victor Wifo. When you're feeling thoughtful, you play Fela. So music needs, if you can blend both, good for you. If you want to tell one story, just make sure you're telling story, because at the end of the day, if you're only dance, you get overtaken by the next dance fad.
Okay, that is true. That is true. I like that.
But if you have a story to tell, till tomorrow, when you play African Queen, it's a beautiful love story. It's a poem in some ways. It's a story still. You are my African queen, the girl of my dreams. He's telling you about this lady. He's telling you about his love story. So for any long-term music, it has to be a story. What are you expressing? Because all of us have stories. We all have experiences. You had a bad day. All the successful musicians, if you listen to them, if you look at Simi, what brought Simi onto limelight was no mini jam question, because that not only did she tell a story, but she used our everyday lingua. Don't ask me jam question, don't ask me stupid question. And then you hear it in a song. Instead of you to say, don't ask me jam question tomorrow, you will sing it in a song.
Yes, that is true.
Because so it's all about it. Funny. Yes.
Yeah, because imagine you're talking about love. A lot of people can relate with love. Everyone has been in love. Everyone has suffered, except for abnormal people who they have suffered heartbreak and all those things. Except for some exceptional people who never had heartbreaks in their life.
Or have a heart. Let's start with that one.
So those ones, they are special people who don't know which breed of humans they are. So they cannot relate to story of love.
Right.
And then you also have people who suffer betrayal, for example, heartbreaks, love, and sad story, So once you can sing, you use this subject, you can appeal to millions of people. But the moment you talk about drugs, you talk about guns, you appeal to a minority group.
Yes.
I'm not sure if a lot of people can, if your music can stand the test of time. In fact, it will become hated even. We have seen that happen to a lot of musicians. So yeah, thank you, Mrs. Ada Obi, for coming. Your point were very valid. So, and I hope our viewers, we have discussed so many points, I think up to 7 or 8 or 9.
A lot, definitely.
So thank you so much. We'll do this again. We'll come back next time. So
absolutely.
Bye-bye to everyone. Please also remember to subscribe, leave your like, leave your comment, because that is your way of showing us. It doesn't cost you much. It's free. You just subscribe, just simple, That way, YouTube will say, okay, yes, these guys are doing something. Let's encourage them more and more. So thank you so much, and sharp everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.